Robert Bianchi is a former New Jersey County prosecutor, a chief law enforcement officer. He joins me from New York by phone, caught in some traffic there, I understand. So we really appreciate you making an effort to get on with us, because I think this bears having a voice of someone who has, by the way, been the chief law enforcement officer of some 44 agencies. You handled police excessive force cases in your county, and you know about the importance of transparency. These three cases, violent arrests within the Messa Police Department, does it suggest deeper problems in this department to you?
Well, MichaeLA, first of all, it's great to be here. I wish I could be there in person. But listen, the experience that I had as prosecutor comes from my civil rights litigation experience in suing police departments for excessive force and police brutality. So you can imagine when I got appointed to be the head of 44 law enforcement agencies, the cops were none too happy about the fact that a civil rights litigator was coming to be their boss. But what we found is that when we explained to police that these rules and procedures and training and accountability and transparency are career protectors as opposed to going after them all the time with a sword, there was buy-in there. And so, of course, as a prosecutor, what I established was an early warning detection system, a red flagging system, where if an officer had a certain amount of complaints at a certain period of time, there was a lot to it, the prosecutor's office was red flagged. We were specifically notified, and then we would go back to that department and we'd say, wait, why statistically is it this officer that's having this problem? Maybe there's a drug addiction issue. Maybe there's a marriage issue. Let's look at the absenteeism. Is there a retraining issue? And the cops actually bought into this. So, of course, as a prosecutor, when I'm looking at this, I'm going to say, wait a minute, there are too many violent arrests that are going on, and there's something going on culturally in this department. And, MichaeLA, I can tell you from being a civil rights litigator, the differences between Department A and Department B can be wildly different simply based upon who the leadership is and their investment in the internal affairs process. That's what's key.
So you're saying, because we do know that the Internal Affairs Department will look into this, right? For Messa, they'll investigate. But then there's a lot of people who say, you know, those internal affairs investigations are flawed because it's the police investigating the police.
Well, this is why I believe that the county prosecutor should be overseeing every single excessive force complaint that goes on to the county, so there's another agency looking at it. And the people who are detractors of internal affairs have a point. When I was a civil rights litigator, for example, I had a case with a guy who had over 60 internal affairs complaints of police brutality. I'm talking about serious physical harm, all of which were not sustained. What that said to that police officer, based upon, you know, if you do this long enough and you get experts, what it said to that officer was, your conduct is okay. What it said to the department was, your conduct is okay. You're being an aggressive cop. But in other departments, they were far more proactive about it, and they would be looking at it way before it got to 60 victims, saying, wait a minute, we need to step in here. So it is true. I've seen internal affairs departments operate beautifully and honestly, and I've seen some that have actually just shielded and protected the cops, and that's where the wiggle room is.
You looked at this countless times, and these are three cases that we're looking at just in Messa. So you have a perspective that we might not have. What is it? I mean, in this one situation, they're taunting the guy after they beat the crap out of him. They're taunting him, right?
Yeah,
is it terrible training? Is it irresponsibility in the character? Is something broken? Is it poor accountability? What is at the root of this?
When I saw the taunting, I thought that was one of the more important things. Look, we don't know all the facts, and most officers are doing the right job. Most officers never get involved in stuff like this.
Exactly.
But when I saw the taunting, it said to me, look, I know cops that use force, they use reasonable force, and afterwards they try to calm the person down, de-escalate the situation. It seemed to me there's a training issue, or that you may have a temperamentally unfit police officer. As a prosecutor or as a civil rights litigator, I want to look into this guy's background and see how many other internal affairs complaints have been filed, because it only takes 2, 3, 4 bad people that can create a lot of carnage within one police department. So there's a lot of
and set a tone. You're right. Yeah. Hey, you know what? You did good on the phone. You were fine. Don't you worry about it. I know I would have loved to see your handsome face, but I'm glad we were able to talk about this. This is a pressing matter, not just in Mesa. We've been having this discussion. You said, and I agree with you, the vast majority of police officers are doing their job and doing it well. It's when these, these bad apples come up and be bad actors. We've got to discuss it. There's got to be justice. Robert Bianchi, thanks so much for making the phone call with us.
Thank you, MichaeLA.